Hey guys, Dan here with Battlefield Curator. Palmetto State Armory just released some more information about their STG44. If you haven't known, the STG44 that they're making is part of a Battlefield series. So they're going to have a lineup of weapons, I'm sure, that are going to be from the era of World War II. That's what it sounds like. Now, the STG44 was a World War II designed German Sturmgewehr, that's what it stands for, storm rifle. The only one you can get right now that's a reproduction is a 22 caliber, as far as I know. And so they're making this STG44 reproduction in the original cartridge, 8mm Kurs. And we're going to make it in 300 blackout, 5.56, and they're going to make it in 7.62 by 3.9, which is a very common caliber you can find anywhere. So I'm sure that one will probably be the one that'll be the hottest seller. And there's some differences between their reproduction STG44 and the original. The original was select fire. This one's obviously not going to be select fire. And a lot of the components were pretty much streamlined here with this reproduction, and it was pretty much used as an HK style trigger group. One of the things I think is interesting is that they are actually diving into this realm, which there's not a lot of companies that do dive into this realm. You have the GSG MP40. I did a video about that. You can see that video in the description. It's a semi-auto MP40 reproduction of an MP40, and ATI is the one that imports that into the US. It's not. It looks similar to the original MP40, but of course there's differences. You've got Ohio Ordnance with their BAR. I've also done a video on that, so you can check that out in the description as well. All right, so let's take a look back at a genre, an era where weapons have just been coveted so much and appreciated because of the history of them, right? So let's take a look back in time to the American Old West. So back then, you had very iconic firearms like the Colt Single Action Army. You had the Henry Model 1860, the Winchester Model 1866. You had all these lever actions that were pretty much popularizing the Old West. And these rifles and pistols have just become so collectible, especially if you can find one with an original date. You don't want to shoot them anymore. If you shoot them, you take the chance of destroying them or reducing their value, which you don't want to do, especially if you already paid a lot of money for them. And companies like Cimarron or Uberti, they produce new reproductions of single action armies and lever actions. And there's other companies that do all kinds of other stuff as well, like double barrel shotguns. Because those weapons are just so iconic, I think we're seeing the same thing happen over again. We're looking at an iconic era of world history, of American history. You have a lot of weapons technology that happened during that era. That would be World War II era. And those weapons, a lot of those just don't get seen very often anymore. They're becoming very collectible. Essentially, a lot of the weapons coming from this World War II era are highly collectible. And a lot of people don't really want to shoot them because, it might just diminish the value somewhat. So you might see these companies like Palmetto State Armory making some of these weapons again that are reproductions of what would have been seen during that era, the iconic weapons of World War II. Now you got to take a look back. I think there was a huge demand for a lot of the Wild West weaponry due to like movies and TV shows, Clint Eastwood, stuff like that. I think now you're seeing a demand for a lot of these World War II weapons because of video games. There's been a lot of interesting video games and movies that have come out in the past about the World War II era, and there's so many heroic stories that have been captured and documented that is definitely a huge part of American history, which makes the World War II era very iconic. So when it comes down to what was used during that time frame, what the enemy had during that time frame, a lot of those weapons are very iconic in history. And Palmetto State Armory, I think they'll do pretty well with their Battlefield series. I think over time you'll see that they'll come out with some of these reproductions, and there's going to be a demand for them. People are going to want to get them. People are going to want to shoot them. People are going to want to take it to the range and show it off. People are going to want to try to understand, while being behind that weapon system, what it would have been like for a German soldier to hold one in battle during the Second World War. So I think Palmetto State Armory is doing something pretty unique here, bringing back to life some weapons that are really collectible, but they're bringing them back as reproduction. Now, asking myself, would I get one? I think I might want to get one, because the only one you can get right now that's reproduction is in 22, and this one is actually in 7.62x39. I mean, I wouldn't even mind getting the one in 8mm Kurz just to keep it original caliber. I might be able to find some 8mm Kurz, which could mean that 8mm Kurz could, be produced a lot more now because of this. But what about you guys? Is this something that you guys might want to get? I'm pretty excited to see what else they're going to come out with too in the Battlefield series. So you guys let me know what you think. If you like this kind of video, I've got other videos here you can check out. I've got the BAR video, and I've got some other historic weapons videos. So make sure you guys check those out. And as always, be sure to learn history and curate history. Make it a great day.